Preferred Equine Marketing sold the sale topper and led gross sales in every one of the Meadowlands Mixed sales over the past year. And they're looking forward to doing the same at the Spring Mixed on April 29th. Visit preferredequine.com and consign now with harness racing's undisputed leader in racehorse sales.
Hi, I'm Heather Vitale for a Harness Racing Update. You know, in any business, it's hard to get to the top, but staying there can be even harder. However, Ron Burke knows it's not impossible. Recently, I visited his family stable in Florida to talk about some recent superstars and what's up and coming for the Burke Brigade. Ron, you have rewritten record books, but now you have your first horse of the year with Hannelore Hanover. Can you even explain that feeling?
Yeah, no, it was very, happy. Like, we had never had one, and all the good horses we've had, even great horses, we'd never had one. I thought Sweet Lou should have been the 1 year, and he got beat. And then, this year, like, when you start looking at it, she did special things, and she beat the boys. She set a world record. So, somewhat I expected it, but you never don't appreciate it.
There's never been a horse of the year that's gone overseas since Moneymaker, and now we have Hannelore. Do you think she's going to go to Europe?
The only chance would be after this year if we just extended her year and went right into France. Like, I can't see going to Sweden. Like, it takes too much out of her. It takes too much out of her schedule, and like, her schedule's set up for us to make money. And that's the number one thing for her. We want to make as much money as we can and give her the best chance to be as sharp as she can.
And being the president of the Foiled Again fan club, I would be crazy to interview Ron Burke and not mention Foiled Again. This is a bittersweet year. It's kind of like, yay, he's retiring. And then it's like, oh, he's retiring? Like, how? You're never going to drop him in the box again after this year.
Yeah, no, it is going to be sad. Like, he's been like in the barn for as long as now I can remember. Like, there's no memories for me of not Foiled being in the barn. So for us, it is a special horse. Obviously, he helped build the barn that we have now. Without him, we never would have done it. So, we're always going to have a special place in our hearts for him. But, the same thing, there are times now when he does get beat and it hurts, because I think, those are horses that should never beat him. But, he still seems to love his job. He enjoys it every morning. He's sound. We love having him, and the people adore him. Like, every track you take him to, people don't understand how well he's received and how much people like to see him and, look at him and touch him. And he's a great horse that way. He's nice. He's, he'll handle it. So I think the only person he doesn't like is me.
We're in Florida now, and we have 77 here, 2-year-olds.
Yeah, my father's here full-time with the 2-year-olds. I come in and out.
Let's talk about the 2-year-olds. First of all, the Sweet Lou's. That's really an important sire that you're hoping does well this year, since you trained Sweet Lou.
Yeah, and we still are the majority owner of Sweet Lou too, so it's important to us in many ways. But the fillies have been great. Couldn't be more happy with them. They're all great attitudes. The colts, half of them were great, and half of them we were like a little bit like disappointed. They were more bully than Lou ever was. Like, they were more like do their own thing. We gelded a couple of them, and it's been amazing what it's done for them. They turned right around. So, as far as gaits and ability, I think they're great. Colts, you may have to geld one here, every once in a while, because they're going to be a little bit bully, and Lou wasn't like that. Lou was a complete gentleman and a complete racehorse. And his good colts are very much like it. But the nice thing, the fillies, none of them show any attitude. They're all very willing, very just pleasant to be around. So I really think he has the making of a top sire, and we're going to give him every chance.
We're going to talk about specifically some of those foals, but I just want to mention, it's funny when people think of Sweet Lou, they automatically think of like the 6 sub-48 consecutive miles, when he was a 2-year-old champion and a 5-year-old champion and showed a lot of young speed.
Yeah, I mean, he's still the world record holder as a 2-year-old. He, went in 49 on a day that the aged Breeders' Crown won 49 and 2. To me, it's the greatest performance of any 2-year-old of any time. Like, when you figure out it was in a snowstorm in November in Canada, and he did it by 10 lengths. So, he's a extreme speed as a 2-year-old, extreme durability, and has a great attitude and there was no hole in his game. So I really do believe he will become a top sire.
Okay, so let's check out a couple. First, No Massamore, a colt, $100,000 Harrisburg purchase.
Yeah, that's actually a Ken Jacobs colt. It's actually a brother to a colt we had before that we really didn't like. This colt, though, that we thought maybe the Lou would pick him up, and he did. And it seems like a nice colt, very willing, nice colt.
Now we have Hilarious Lou, $32,000 from Harrisburg.
Yeah, it was, from a farm that, not from a top farm, so maybe it got lost in the shuffle a little bit. Had a great video, had a ton of Lou in him, looks very much like his father, and that's why we had to have him, and it's been a real surprise. Like, he's as good as any of the other Lou's we have.
One of the fillies, Sweet Chrome.
Yeah, she's out of Camille. Camille was $1 million winner for us, and it's also who's a sister to Chansey Lady, so it has every reason to be a top filly. She's done everything right. She's not the biggest filly, but she has a great gait, great attitude. Really happy with her.
By the way, when the Sweet Lou's walked into the ring, they were breathtaking. And Janet Hanover, she has her daddy in her, all over.
Well, and especially we raised her mom, Jan's Luck, too, and it is the perfect combination of Sweet Lou and Jan's Luck. And my sister took care of Jan's Luck and bought into Janet Hanover, and she was a very cheap baby. She was only $12,000, and because she had a cut on her hock, I knew it would never bother her. I'd been to the Hanover farm, seen her out in the field, and we bought her, and she's been nothing but great the whole way down, probably the biggest surprise of the whole barn.
From the first crop of Captain Treacherous, we have De Los Cielos Dio.
Yeah, that was my number 1 rated yearling as a baby. That was the one I rated the highest. We, would have went way more on him. He only brought $140,000, being a brother to I Love the Nightlife and I'm the Pied Piper. To me, right now, if you said gun to my head, best colt you have, I think it's him. A couple to lose, all of a sudden I feel him closing the gap, but he's a wonderful colt. He's out of a great mare. He's perfect size, perfect manner. So, all he can do is disappoint me from here.
Only $140,000, right? Okay. So another first year. Now we're talking trotters. We've got Trixton Cheap Tricks.
Yeah, that was bought out of Jeff Garral's consignment, and we really wanted a Trixton. We wanted a dual eligible. We really couldn't get one bought. We thought this colt went a little bit cheap. He's been great the whole way down. He's very willing, good gaited. So we like him. Gives us a Jersey sired horse, and like to always stay involved in Jersey. The Meadowland's still the greatest place in the world to race.
All right. Now the last of first year we're going to talk about is Uncle Peter. He's got some foals on the ground. Tu eres mi corazón. I'm really going to have to work on my Spanish here.
Yeah, no, that's a sister to New Dimension. And when we went to the Ohio sale, every time that they brought the filly out, me and my dad would be looking at our horses. We'd be like, who is that? And she stood out among the whole bunch. And we ended up having to pay as much as anybody ever paid for Ohio bred in history. But to me, we had to have her. There was the only horse we were not leaving with. And she has been nothing but a pleasure the whole way down. As long as New Dimension keeps doing good, all she has to do is all right to be worth her money. But I think she's a lot better than all right.
So not first year crops coming up, but some that Ron really loves here. Cantab Hall, a filly Fade Into You, $65,000 from Lexington.
Yeah, this is the first time we've had Muscle Hill on the dam side, which to me, I've always said you got to have Muscle Hill anymore. If you want to win Hambos, you want to win big races, you better get a Muscle Hill. For us, it's the only way we've been able to do it. Now I'm looking for him on the dam side. Maybe we can do it this way. This filly now has been special from the beginning and is special the whole way down training. To me, that's our top trotting filly, and I think our trotting fillies are the best things we have right now.
Oh, all right. Good to know. Muscle Hill, just talked about him. Now you have a Muscle Hill colt, goes down smooth.
Yeah, this was actually one an owner bought on his own, and then we bought into him. And, when he came here, I was like, he's small. He's not that impressive, but you know what? He's a Muscle Hill, and he knows that he's exemplary speed, and great attitude, perfect gait. That horse is going to be a surprise. He's going to be a sleeper. There's going to be a lot of $400,000 Muscle Hills to get beat by an $80,000 Muscle Hill. That's a pretty good colt.
All right. American Ideal, filly, and Street Somewhere.
Yeah, we bought her from the Crawford's consignment. I've seen this filly numerous times in their fields. I'd been out. She paces through the fields, unbelievable. Had to have her. Then after last year, especially just You're My Candy Girl being an American Ideal and us doing so well, we went back to the well. She's done nothing wrong, absolutely flawless the whole way down. And for me, that to me is my best pacing filly, which again, I love my pacing fillies, but if I said gun to your head, best one, that's her.
All right. Well, we're going to put everything together and end this with actually a pacing colt. But it is a Sun Beach somewhere, Dundee Hanover. This colt's really special to you, right? You love the mother.
Right. Dorita Hanover is a horse that was owned by me, my father, my brother, and sister. She won the Jugette. We bought her basically just sitting around bored at the end of the Harrisburg for $22,000. She went on, made $600. Her first colt, her first foal was him, and the first colt, when we saw him, we were like, we had to have him. Like $120,000 later, I was like, I don't know if we needed to have him that bad, but he's been nothing but a perfect gentleman the whole way down. Seems to have her will, maybe Sun Beach's ability, and it's going to be a good ride, and hopefully history will strike twice with that family for us. It's also the family of the Ponderosa, so there's plenty of reason for expect that colt to be great.
Thanks for taking the time out today to be with me.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Burke family for having me, and thank you for watching today. I'm Heather Vitale for Harness Racing Update.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and trusted news source and the fastest growing publication in the game. HRU has you covered with award-winning features and commentary from some of the sport's best writers. Stellar photography, race news, results, entries, handicapping, and video replays. The industry's most comprehensive sales results and Harness Racing's best reader feedback section. And it's all delivered free of charge to your email box multiple times each week. See why HRU is the most trusted news source of the sport's most important people from all facets of the industry. Subscribe today for free. To subscribe, just go to harnessracingupdate.com and then click subscribe for free.